Hi, my name is Peter. I'm from True North Marine. This short video is just to provide you with information on how to present your video if you're doing the marine radio license. So to obtain a marine radio license requires a number of activities to be completed. First of all, there's some practice online exam questions. Secondly, there's a demonstration of providing evidence that you know how to use a radio. And then, of course, we get to the final exam. Final exam is a closed book exam, so you're not allowed to use any resources. Um, so once you've done that, then that's the process completed. Um, some people have access to a radio where they can provide evidence of using a radio using their own device. Majority of people, though, we've found do not have access to a marine radio. So we provide that VHF trainer simulated device. And I just want to run through this video with you then on how to prepare for that or present that evidence. You'll notice on the slides here that there are a number of tasks that need to be done. Now, this is something that people doing their radio license don't often see, because this is the information that I get as an invigilator. An invigilator is a person who oversees an exam process. I don't mark an exam. I don't even know what questions are in the exam, but my job is just to make sure that it's the candidate doing the exam on their own. So these tasks then are designed for you to present in the video. Item 1, for example, if you can see on the screen there, they want you to know or show how you can turn the transceiver on, adjust the power, set the correct channel for making an initial call, reducing background noise, obviously using the squelch button. Item 2, using the radio to demonstrate a log-on call with a marine rescue group, how to call that station, how to respond to their questions or instructions, change channels as required, and then sign or log off. Item 3 is a demonstration of a Mayday call. Item 4 is to make a simulated call using DSC alert. So your DSC radio will have a button there to make a DSC alert. If you are using a live device on your own vessel, of course, don't press the activation for the DSC alert. But in the simulated device, obviously it's not live, so you can press that button. And then in item 5, just setting the channel for dual watch. So some of these tasks can actually be grouped together. So if you look at item 1, item 4, and item 5, they can all be done in a very short period of time. And we'll show you that shortly in the video. And then the other items, item 2 and 3, which is your initial log on and your Mayday. Now, what they're looking for in your presentation is that you follow the formats that have already been established. Don't sort of make up your own terminology or plan. Just follow the steps that are required. For example, in a Mayday call, a Mayday call would be Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is, and then identify yourself. Now, the second component after that is to give your position. Your position is a critical piece of information, so it has to come high up on the list. If communication is lost after you've given that, at least the rescuers or the station receiving will know where you are and they can respond. Then give the nature of your distress. I am, or we are in a position. We are on fire. We are aground. We are sinking, etc. And what immediate assistance do you need in respect to that situation? Then how many people on board? We have X amount of people on board. And additional information if there's time. Are you abandoning the vessel into a life raft? And so on. So that's what's required. If you're logging on, so we always log on using channel 16. Channel 16 is your initial contact and distress channel. And then here I've got a simulated message, which you could copy and repeat it yourself. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You've just got to follow the steps. So here we've got Marine Rescue Port Stevens. This is Liberator on channel 16 over. Now I've said my name, the vessel's name twice. I don't have to, but in VHF it can be said once or twice. So I've used twice here. They respond back. So any of those green sections on the screen are the responses back. But in the video, you should give your message and the response that you would expect. In this case, Liberator. This is Marine Rescue Port Stevens. go to channel 7.1 and call back over. By using that term over, they're now inviting me to respond. So I would switch to channel 7.1 and then call them back. So that's the kind of format that we have there. What I'm going to do now is just go to the simulated device. So you should have this screen and a little arrow at the top, which you can hit. First thing is to turn on the GPS. If you've got a DSC radio, it's probably connected to your GPS anyway, but in this simulated device, the GPS is separate. So I need to turn that on, and then the radio will be able to pick up our vessel's position. So once I've got the GPS on, I don't need that anymore. I can now go to VHF. So here's our VHF radio. And the functions that they want you to use are, down on the left-hand side, the high and low power. So on a VHF radio, if it's a fixed unit in your vessel, it will normally have a maximum power capacity of 25 watts. And that's legislated. They can't be manipulated in any way. That's your high power component. And then your low power component is normally 1 watt. So if you're in an area other than being out at sea, but if you're in a harbour environment, for example, it's very common to turn that down to the low power so you're not bursting out a great big signal every time you talk. So the opportunity then is to adjust high and low, and you need to demonstrate how to do that, and we'll follow that through in a moment. The other part is a dual watch. So you have the ability to monitor 2 channels at the same time. One of those always has to be channel 16, and then you can select another channel whichever suits you. For example, you might have a friend who you're out fishing with, and they're on channel 7.1, so you could dual watch that and listen to 16 and 7.1 at the same time. If they call you, you'll hear that message. You've also got your DSC distress. We'll go to that shortly. Just down here on the bottom right hand side, we've got our on and off button, also on the right, our squelch button. So as soon as we activate this radio, it's going to come up with a lot of static noise and sounds, and we need to reduce that. The trick is to only adjust the squelch button until the noise disappears. That way you'll still allow voice transmission to come through. If you adjust the squelch button too much, you will eliminate the background noise, but you will also eliminate the voice transmissions from other vessels. You've also got your volume button just at the top on the right, where you can adjust it, and on the handset right at the top of the screen just under the words GPS, that is your PTT button, your press to talk button. So anytime you are making a transmission, then you should press that button. So let's go ahead and turn the device on right here. Adjust the squelch. Adjust the squelch just till that sound is gone, and some of the things they want us to do. So right now we can see that
Coastal Station San Angelo Radio with marine weather forecast. San Angelo Radio will broadcast the message to channel 06.
Okay, so some of the things we've got here at the top is the letter high. So to demonstrate you can know how to change that, you would simply just go down to the high, low, and press that. And now it's reading low. Okay, we'll leave that on high for now, but that needs to be demonstrated. If you did notice just a few moments ago when that weather report, simulated weather report was coming in, the letters TX came up on the screen just where the cursor is. So if I press the PTT, you'll see the letter TX or RX for transmission or receive. Now I'm going to go and change to a dual watch. I might just monitor channel 9, that's another harbour channel. And now if I want to monitor channel 9 with channel 16, I just press the dual watch, and now it scans between the 2 channels. So that's another demonstration, activating the dual watch. So already now I've done quite a number of functions. Adjusted the power, done a dual watch, And what I'm going to do now, while I've got this screen open, is to transmit by DSC a distress message. So I'll simulate this by distressing, for example, a fire message. So what I would do is go to the menu. Now here I can see my DSC menu. Now I can make individual calls or a call to a group on all ships, a distress test or receive memory information. There's also another part, transmission memory over here. It just sort of records information, and a setup. So all I want to do in this demonstration is essentially give a distress call. So I'm going to use the down buttons here and go to distress. Hit enter. Now I have a number of options to select from. So fire and collision, flooding, collision, grounding, capsizing, sinking. So I'm just going to select, for example, grounding. Hit enter. This has my position already in here. That's what the GPS has done, given my position. The radio is registered, so it has an MMSI number. So all I need to do now is send that DSC alert. So I open up the distress button, so it's a two-step process. Now I hit the distress, and I need to hold that for 5 seconds. So it sends out that message, and straight away I've got a receipt back from a vessel with their MMSI number, and they've acknowledged receipt of that distress. What would follow on from here would follow normal Mayday procedures, and that would be to go to voice communication with that vessel on channel 16. But this is a digital process where that signal was sent out to multiple vessels within range, and obviously we've got a response back. Stop that. Okay, now I'm going to go back to channel 16. Let me just exit down here. There's the exit. Enter. Now I'm back on channel 16. So I'm going to make a simulated call with a log on with the Marine Rescue Base. So my press to talk button is up here, and I'm going to call them on channel 16 to start with, and I'll play the two roles. Marine Rescue Port Stephens, this is Liberator. Liberator on channel 16. Do you receive? Over. Liberator, this is Marine Rescue Port Stephens. Could you go up to channel 71 and call back? Over. So now I go to channel 71. That's a working channel. So I made the initial contact on 16. Now I'm going to 71 as requested, and I'll call them back. Up to my press to talk. Marine Rescue Port Stephens, this is Liberator. Liberator on channel 71. Over. They would respond. Liberator, this is Marine Rescue Port Stephens. Pass your message. Over. Now I'm going to give them the contents of my message. Marine Rescue Port Stephens, this is Liberator. We'd just like to log on with you. We are departing Dalbora Marina at Nelson Bay at this time, bound for Newcastle. ETA at Newcastle 1500. We have 3 persons on board, and onboard phone number is, and you would give a phone number. Over. They would respond back and they would say, Liberator, this is Marine Rescue Port Stephens. We have you logged on. We have received that information. If you could call Newcastle, Marine Rescue Newcastle on or before 1500 hours. This is Marine Rescue Port Stephens, going back to channel 16, out. I would reply, this is Liberator, going back to 16, out. And there we have the log on for a Marine Rescue Base.
All ships. This is Coastal Station San Angelo Radio. Research vessel anchored at latitude 15 degrees, 30 minutes north. Longitude 075 degrees, 10 minutes west. White berth requested. This is San Angelo Radio listening on channel 16.
So I paused the video then because that simulated transmission was coming through. And that's very important. Don't talk while that is on. The reason is that VHF radios are known as simplex mode radios, where one person talks and everybody else listens. So even before you use the radio, you should listen to make sure there's not other communication or transmission on that channel. So final part now is I'm going to give a simulated Mayday, just using the radio itself, the handpiece, not the DSC component. I'm going to go up to the PTT button again. So Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is Liberator, Liberator, Liberator. My position is 32 degrees, 25.6 south, 152 degrees, 14.9 east. We are sinking, 5 persons on board, preparing to abandon vessel. This is Marine Rescue, this is Liberator, Mayday. Now I'm hoping someone responds. Now if they don't respond, then I need to repeat that. And for the purpose of the exercise, you only need to do that once. But in a real situation, that would need to be repeated. As you can see, the advantage of the DSC is simply the fact that if that DSC message is not acknowledged, the radio unit itself will keep repeating it at intervals until it is acknowledged. In a manual mode, as we're doing here now, I have to keep repeating that myself until someone can respond. So DSC is by far a much better option. Okay, that's all you need to demonstrate for the radio simulated device.